Hi, I'm Deb. I'm nervous today. Anyway, just going to say that it's very close. So I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict, and I've done this work with a couple of Big Book Step Study sponsors, and in going through all 12 steps, I've discovered God. And I knew God before, but I discovered God in an intimate way, and it was through doing this work. I have finished all my amends, and I'm practicing every step, with all my heart, in every moment, to the best of my ability. I know that many of us, when we do the drill up here and say this, that many of us say that we're practicing the latter steps, and I respect that. But for some reason, God's talking to me regularly about practicing every single step, every single moment. They're all connected. So we're on step 10, and many people say that if you practice the latter steps, you got them all. And I get that. But for some reason, all the steps are just kind of working in my life. So that's why I said that. I'm also going to talk about some other stuff, and as I introduce myself, and I'm doing this for a reason, not for you, but for me, so I'm going to be a little selfish. I'm going to explain that I have a home group, and I show up there every week. I have a sponsor, and I call on a regular basis. I work with women regularly. I pray and meditate very regularly, meditate every single day. I'm explaining it this way because for me, I want to feel as if I'm doing this program. So I want to share with you why I'm sitting here and why I'm still sober. So that's how I'm going to do it. And that's just the way God's talking to me lately. So we're on step 10, and I feel nervous because, and it's really easy for me to explain this, but one is because I'm tired. That's a small thing, so I worked last night. But the other is because just in walking in the building, I talked to so many different people. Ooh, I don't want to cry right in the beginning. And in the very short amount of time that I talked to so many people, I was touched by so many different people's reactions about, life, and one person in particular has something really sad going on with them. And so we're on step 10, and I will talk about a little bit about my past and how this stuff affects me, but I'm super affected right now because I was coming into this building like this, right? I'm tired. I worked last night. I work in the ER, so it's a big, S-storm all the time. So I'm coming in, I'm going, okay, I can't be late, la-da-da, me, drive, get here. And then someone tells me that something's happening in their life that's super, super sad. Sad and good, but sad. And so when I talk about this process, look at him crying already, I am so leveled by the humility that God continues to send people in my life to say to me, see, we all have stuff, and look at how lucky you are. So I get right-sized all the time, and I just walked in the door, and 4 people walked up to me and said different things and shared different things about their life. And one person in particular, who I love very much, shared something that's extremely moving and difficult. And this is 10th step. We're on 10th step right now, right? This is 10th step. This person can walk right up to me and open her mouth and say, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. And I can be present instead of going, oh, I got to speak in a few minutes. Can you back off? I got to go check my hair. Does anybody have a mint? You know what I'm saying? Instead of thinking me, this person's going, let me share with you my pain. And this work allows me to accept that feeling, not run away from her, and bawl my eyes out up here. And be honest about it, and also tell you that I'm scared. I was scared. I don't know why, and I think I know why now. Because I know I was going to come in here, and there are so many people in here that I love that were going to just talk to me, boom, and just speak. The beauty of this work is that This step, as well as the other steps, helped me develop a contented sobriety and a real connection with God. And that only comes if I do all the work. That means the first step to 12. Not just, I've done the first 9, and I'm all set with those, and now that I'm on 10, 11, 12, I'm going to just focus right there. This is just me. So that's what happened to me when I walked in. So I was nervous, right? And I'm still a little bit nervous, but I'm so much better. Anyway, so a little bit about my background, and then I'll talk more about step 10. Background is that at my own hand, I mangled my life, and I wrecked everything because I was selfish, but didn't know it. I didn't know that my solution at the time was substance, and I just blew up my world. So I came into this program thinking that, crazy as it is, that someone was going to help me use so I wouldn't get in trouble anymore. So then I come in here and I discover that, it's not the substance, it's the way I think, and it's the lack of God. And that's really cool because I've changed. And I've changed by doing this work. And so anyone who's sitting in here who's come in and they are mangled and their life's all messed up and you think, oh, this and that and my job, my life, how much I weigh and how much money I owe, blah, 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 blah. Aren't you sweet, huh? Thanks. Toilet paper. So, thank you. Awesome. Anyway, so I walked in with that focus of myself. My life, my money, my this, my that. Then I was fortunate enough to get a sponsor and do this work and follow directions, something that I hadn't done before, but I didn't recognize, that I didn't follow directions. And so we talk about this in the program as being self-will. So now I learn about following directions, being authentic, keep my word, show up, do this work, try to be fearless and thorough. And what does that look like? It means that I'm going to give it all I got, bring God into everything I do, and don't leave anything out. So I do the work, and I make this discovery that most of my problems are in my head or caused by myself. So after I do this work, my life starts to change. It changes in subtle ways, and then it changes in huge, huge ways. It changes like this. When I would have a conversation with somebody, and this all relates to step 10, but I didn't know it. When I have a conversation with someone and they want to gossip about someone else, I jump right on that. After doing this work, I didn't understand why, but I didn't feel right. I felt like I did something wrong. I'd look it over my shoulder like, what did I do? And so I've learned that's God consciousness. It's very subtle. It's huge now for me. It's huge. It's absolutely everything for me. My actions, all my actions, even something as trivial to some as speeding. Where does that take my mind when I'm driving really fast here to work? To this meeting or to work or to anywhere. I recall once I was speeding. Okay. This is an honest program. Anyway, so I was speeding and I was going like whatever. I was driving quickly, and I look over. God loves me so much, and I can say this over and over and over again. But I'm driving like a bat out of hell. And so I look over, and there's someone driving just as fast as me. We're both trying to stay in this left lane. And he's going to get in front of me, and I'm going to do this. And it was someone in the program. And we both looked at each other in our cars, and we cracked up. Because only two alcoholics would be driving like maniacs down the road, trying to get someplace that if you just drove a little slower, you'd get there just the same, right? So I end up seeing this alcoholic later. This is more 10 step. This is me in my life. This is me being contented in my sobriety and recognizing, boom, I'm driving too fast. I'm acting like a nut. What's my problem? So I see this alcoholic at a meeting, and we both start laughing because we've both done this work. We both know we were crazy, but we're there to check each other out. We both talk to each other honestly and say, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" We're both in a hurry, self-will, in control, trying to move, trying to get people out of our way. But he's a gift. So God talks to me all the time and says, "Slow down, stop. Pay attention. What are you in such a rush for? Contented sobriety. And so that keeps going back to step 10. Step 10 talks about continue to take personal inventory. I can share with you nonstop about personal inventory. Personal inventory is the moment I wake up, the moment I open my eyes, where's my head going to go? My head goes to, I'm glad I can see that the day is the morning is here, the sun is rising. I know it sounds really corny, but this is how I live. I start right off with gratitude. And the reason I do this is my life has shifted a great deal because of gratitude. I start right away. Oh, I slept, okay, I'm not going to lie. I slept very little last night because I worked last night. So I work in an ER. I didn't sleep very well, but I still woke up thinking, I got some sleep. Okay, maybe a few hours, but I still got some. I'm in a warm place. I can see the sun. I'm so grateful I didn't hurt anybody at work. I did the very best I could. Thank you, God, for a good day. And then, I start praying and stuff like that. But that's how I start every single day of my life. And prior to doing this work, the first thing I would do when I woke up is, well, look at all the things I got to do. Oh, God, I got so much laundry, and I got to blah, 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 blah. And because of this work, starting at step 1 to 12, it's taught me that every moment I have a chance to flip my day, to have this contented sobriety, to be connected to God. I can start off with the wine, the gossip, the overeating, the binging, the needing to exercise. I got to buy something, get on Amazon and buy some more sneakers, whatever it happens to be. And then within that second, I can flip. I can do what the step says. I can continue to take personal inventory. And when I'm wrong, I can promptly admit it. That doesn't mean just to you. That means to me and God, too. That means non-stop connection, doing it. So I can reset my day anytime. So it doesn't matter. I often hear my son say to me, oh, the day is wrecked. For something happened to him, like he broke his last cigarette. Oh, my day is wrecked. And I always look at him and go, we can always, and he goes, Mom, see, we're not in the same place, and it's okay. And part of that step 10 for that person in my life is to let him live his life the way he is. My job isn't, I'm not there to, hold a banner for AA and Big Book Step Study. My job is to live it. So they talk about attraction for what we do. It doesn't mean I'm going to go around slamming everybody about this is how you should live and this is how you shouldn't live, and God wants us to do that. My job is to do what I need to do is right. What it says to do in the steps and do the work. And then someone will say to me, why are you always so happy? And the truth is, I'm not always so happy. Sometimes I feel pretty crummy. But the difference is, with doing this work, I'm able to identify what it is I feel because of the work we did before. When I worked to 4th step, I was able to identify what a resentment was. So now I know when I'm angry or upset. I know what it is. We had to identify what a cause and effect was. Someone playing a guitar, or what's that loud noise? I can hear it. Cool, see? We can work right through this. So anyway, so in doing resentments and stuff, we learned about our causes and effects and how it affects our souls. What parts of us gets affected. And then I learned about fear, and I learned about my inventory and how I react with other people, sex inventory. So you take all that stuff that we learned and we give it all to God. And then when I do a 10th step, I have that understanding of how I react in life when I'm not comfortable. It's a gift. So I'll just go a little bit through the text. It tells me to continue. I know everybody says that. Continue, continue, continue. And I remember saying to my buddy Denise, come on, don't we get a break? Do we ever get a chance to just lie? Come on. Don't I get to gossip and exaggerate just for one day? Sure, go ahead. And what happens to me? I told you. I look over my shoulder and I say, I feel like I did something wrong. So I prefer not to use. I don't want to relapse. I don't want to have inappropriate sexual activity. I don't want to walk around and be angry. I don't want to go mental on Amazon and buy 6 pair of sneakers. I want to live in peace. So I have to balance myself. And the book calls it neutrality. And the way that I do live in neutrality is I practice these principles in all my affairs. And when I flip and I don't listen to God, I listen to Deb, the book calls it self-will. That's why they tell you to continue. The idea of continue is not so that you know that it's a drill for life. Boom, boom, we got to go. It's so that you give yourself a break. Continue means I'm not perfect. I'm still me that came in here, but it means to be nice to myself, to practice self-love, and that I'm not a perfect person, and that I will fail, and it's okay. Then you call your sponsor, you write an inventory, you say you're sorry, please ask forgiveness for whoever you need to. It says, to continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. When these crop up, so, we've heard people say this, when these crop up, that means that they're going to come up. So I'm not going to walk around, people say to me, how you doing, Deb? I'm perfect. Because I'm not. I'll tell the truth. Sometimes I'm really good, other times I'm not so good. And I'm just going to say the truth. I'm okay. I'm whatever I am. When it talks about we discuss them with someone immediately, does that mean I got to call my sponsor for everything? I bet she's happy. The answer to that is no. Constantly, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I pray about it and it's resolved with me and God. Sometimes I call a buddy, a 10-step buddy. I have buddies in my life, 10-step buddies who tell me the truth. I have people who tell me the truth. Not fun sometimes, but I want them in my life because I want what they have. I am interested in a contented sobriety, I'm interested in authenticity, and I'm interested in having integrity. This is completely opposite from when I came in here, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that telling you the truth, I don't want to hurt you with the truth, but telling you the truth and being honest is not just for you, it's for both of us. I want to be the kind of person in this world where if you ask me something, I'll do my very best to follow through and do it, and I'll respond in a way that is authentic for me. So when someone asks me, do you want to do this, you want to do that, I no longer go, yeah, and then don't show up. You know how we all overbook our schedules? I'll do that, I'll be there, yeah, I gotcha. And then all of a sudden the day goes by and I'm like, sorry, or you avoid them. Well, I don't have to do that anymore. I just call and say, I don't want to do it. It's very interesting because I hike and I bike and I do all kinds of stuff, right? God's blessed me so I can have lots of people to do this stuff with. And so people go, you want to do this? I go, no. One of my friends said, I have a friend who has llamas. We can knit and crochet together llama wool. I go, I don't want to. Now, that's not me. Before I would have said, I'll consider. And now I'll think about, I can put you on Tuesday, between 2 and 3, quickly do the llama and then go off to another meeting. Do you see what I mean? Just jam it all in there because I was not searching for contented sobriety. I was searching to please you. And when we do this inventory, we do this work, we go to God, we pray, we connect with a sponsor, we go to a meeting, we pay attention in the meeting. I'm not on my cell phone, I am listening. And if you're on your cell phone, I don't care, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. But I'm not on my cell phone, I'm not balancing my checkbook, I am looking and I'm listening. Why? Because God is so awesome. God comes to me through the words of other people, through the actions, through the interactions. I'll get that God shot and I'll be like, oh, all right, that's where I need to be today. I'm listening. Just like what I told you, and I'm trying not to cry again, about my friend earlier telling me about her life. She wasn't complaining, she was just talking. And so that right size is everything for me. I got it made. I got it made. It says we cease fighting. I don't punch people in the face anymore because that sounds like a joke, but I grew up in a very abusive home, and that was how they communicated with me, is they hit me. So when I was a young woman, I went out in the world, and I felt as if someone was going to hurt me. My go-to was to hurt you first. That's ridiculous, but that's what I did. And so I would do it with my mouth or my body, right? And so when it says we stop fighting people, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to punch people. That's not what I see God acting in my life. That means that you are going to live your life and you're going to pass right through me. I am not going to obstruct you. And the hardest person in my world is my son. You know, he may choose all kinds of things. And I want to stand in front of him saying, don't you know that's bad for you? Ah! And you know, but that's not my job. He's my teacher. He's my biggest teacher, boy. To teach me about my fear, my control issues, my desire to have an outcome that I can approve of. But none of that's not my, you know, there's nothing to do with me. So when it says we cease fighting, that means that I cease fighting everybody, even Donald Trump. I cease fighting. I'm not throwing political lingo out there. I'm just telling you that I'm not fighting, all right? I can get passionate, and then I have to go to God. Like, where do you want me to be with this, God? Where do you want me to be? You want me to be present? You want me to be available? You want me to be of service? Love and tolerance is my code. So what does that mean to me? You do what you do. If you do something to me that threatens me and harms me, or I perceive it, my job in the moment is to pray, because I got to check myself. I jump into fear. And the second thing I do is ask you, what do you mean by that? That's one of the hardest things I've learned about 10 steps. 10 steps are not necessarily just, you know, I'm going to run to you, please forgive me, I you know, blah, 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 blah. It's the other part of 10 step is to be present, so that what comes out of my mouth is real. So I'm practicing these steps, these principles in all my affairs. So if you say something to me, and I'll give you an example, because I always have those. I was at work, and it was in the really bad case was going on at work, and I work in the emergency room, and there was another nurse, and I looked up, and we're really working like crazy, and she rolled her eyes. Excuse me? So immediately I thought she's rolling her eyes at me. I got defensive, and so the old Deb would have, you know, rallied the wagons and gossiped and said, but this Deb that practices 10 step in all my affairs, I felt that uncomfortable feeling. I felt that insecure feeling. I felt that little girl inside thinking, there's something wrong. I did something wrong. She can see it. Everybody's talking about me, and I'm like, stop that. And so I prayed about it. Then I went up to her after we were done with our case, and I said, I saw you rolling your eyes and stuff, and I'm just wondering, was there something you wanted to tell me about, you know, what I did? Because I kind of got my feelings hurt, but I just want to know, you know, can you tell me about this? That is program. Now, she can tell me to pound sand and anything else she wants, but the point is that my side is done because I ask, and I don't go home and say, or, you know, whatever, or eat some cookies, because, or activate it in what other way? Because contented sobriety, in this step, the 10th step, is a gift. Think about if you're doing this work, or if you've gone through this work, think about when you came in, how you interact with other humans, how you interact with us in here, and how you interact with the others, the ones that don't have to be in here. In my case, it was a lot of people-pleasing, a lot of avoiding, a lot of lying, a lot of dishonesty. And so today, 10th step gives us the ability, when we bring God into it, to be honest, to act like a grown-up, and have a conversation with some integrity. It's very difficult for me. It continues to be difficult, but God makes me have opportunities all the time and shows me that having an authentic life is really, really awesome. I don't have to be ashamed of myself anymore. It's really great. Talks about a position of neutrality. And the next word after neutrality is safe. It says, we feel as though we have been placed in a position of neutrality. And then the next word is safe and protected. What a great place to be, huh? What a great place to be in your own skin and say to yourself, I'm okay, I like myself. That is huge. That was not me, but that is more me today. I mean, I'm going to just say this because this is who I am. The top of my pants are too tight, and I would never, ever, ever have worn pants where my gut hangs over a little. Why? Because somebody can see me. Oh my God. But since I got injured last summer and blew out my knee because I'm a mountain biker, I got a gut. And so what's really, really cool is, it sounds so not 10-step, but it's for me, that I am allowing myself to be what I am, which is my pants are a little tight. Bring it on. But it's just the way it is. This is me more today, instead of being more concerned with what you think I look like. I mean, this is so huge. And that's safe and protected and closer to the real me in my body. It talks about, I'm going to end up because I don't want to keep talking so much, but it talks about a spiritual program of action and not resting on our laurels. And what does that look like? Remember, you can reset any second. It doesn't matter if you blow it in this second here and you gossip or you do whatever you do, you get pissed off. Sarcasm, the silent anger, innuendo. I'm all done with that. I'm all done with smiling at people and having a dagger in my tongue. I'm just not going to do that anymore because it's for me, my relationship with God. So it talks about resting on my laurels. That means that I'm going to practice all these principles in all my affairs. And, I constantly blow it, but I'm much, much better. It says that every day I've got to carry this message into all my activities. I try really hard. Really, really do. And it's not like I try really hard. It's that I choose to be happier today. I really choose a happier path. So I'm going to end with this. It says, we're receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from Him who has all knowledge and power. So if I follow these directions, right? If I follow these directions, we begin to sense the flow of His Spirit into us. And we begin to become aware of God consciousness. And what does that feel like? It feels like the ability to sit up here in a room in front of a bunch of alcoholics and being an alcoholic and being okay. And being able to tell you that my pants are too tight, I'm a little tired, and that I was nervous. And that I feel okay about that. And that the bigger picture is that I'm sober, that I have a God in my life, that my life is turning out magnificently, even though it's not anything like the way I wanted it to be. That I'm trying to take my hands off of it and go with the flow of it. And if you're thinking about doing this work, I can say this with all sincerity, it's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It continues to amaze me and change, but the only reason why it continues to amaze me and change is because that's why I explained what I do in the beginning, because I do all that stuff. It means that much to me, to stay connected to the process and to work with other people. So that's it.